So Diddy was denied bail and taken into custody Tuesday after pleading not guilty in a federal court to charges of racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking. Now, prosecutors are saying that he should not be released because he had previously reached out to witnesses and victims. Prosecutors also allege that Diddy created and ran an criminal enterprise through his business empire and engaged in crimes of sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, obstruction of justice, according to the federal indictment. Now, here is the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, Damian Williams, and he's outlining some of the charges against Diddy and the things they seized.
As part of this investigation, in March of this year, special agents from HSI executed search warrants at Combs' residences in Miami and Los Angeles. They also executed a warrant for Combs' electronic devices. During those searches, agents seized evidence of the crimes charged in this indictment. They seized firearms and ammunition, including 3 defaced AR-15s and a large capacity drum magazine. They also seized evidence of the freak-offs, electronic devices that contain images and videos of the freak-offs with multiple victims. And they seized cases and cases of the kinds of personal lubricant and baby oil that Combs' staff allegedly used to stock hotel rooms for the freak-offs, more than 1,000 bottles altogether.
I really can't handle the amount of freak-offs.
Yeah, why does he?
Let me
can he
say
say
Let's
sex party?
discuss the freak-offs.
I never thought I'd hear freak-offs on
I know.
10 wins. This was crazy. This
No,
morning.
Freak-offs is crazy.
I mean, listen, freak-offs might make it all the way to Lester Holt on the NBC Nightly News.
Well, and you know, people are out here having freak-offs, right? Adults are out here doing whatever adults do.
I guess that's
The
right.
problem here is that there was coercion, there was intimidation, there was drugs, there was the transportation of people paid for the acts of sex. There were people that were recorded unbeknownst to them.
Yeah.
There was it was an organ, and that's where they go into the organization of it all, like how organized it was and used, to abuse people. So I think that's the piece, because there's sex parties going on all the time. Like, people are into that.
Here's a piece of him discussing Diddy's acts of violence.
In addition to the violence, the indictment alleges that Combs threatened and coerced victims to get them to participate in the freak-offs.
More
He
freak-offs.
used the embarrassing and sensitive recordings he made of the freak-offs as collateral
2 freak-offs.
against the victims. And the indictment alleges that he maintained control over the victims in several ways, including by giving them drugs, by giving and threatening to take away financial support or housing, by promising them career opportunities, by monitoring their whereabouts, and even by dictating their physical appearance. Because of all of this, the indictment alleges that the victims did not believe they could refuse Combs without risking their security or facing more abuse. The indictment also alleges other acts of violence undertaken by Combs and others, including violence against witnesses to his abuse, kidnapping, and arson. The indictment alleges that on more than one occasion, Combs carried or brandished firearms to intimidate and threaten victims and witnesses.
This man is he ain't coming home again, guys. That was.
But you see, there's very much different than people who just, hey, I'm an adult, I want to go have whatever kink I'm into, right? This isn't about kink
Very
shaming.
different. Yeah.
Right? And the reason I keep coming back to this is because I know there's people listening that, are out here thinking you can reenact things you see. I bring this up all the time. Reenacting things you see in porn, reenacting things you see in movies, doing things, and it comes to get you later on because you're
See, that's why
you're operating in a toxic space that you don't understand.
But that's why
flying girls out, thinking all of that, bro.
But that's why even when you said the first part, and call me a prude, I'm fine with it at this point. But even when you said, there are people having sex parties and blah, 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 and this is why any of it,
I'm the same as you.
Any of it getting crazy at all, I'd stay away. Why don't you just...
Right. Mine ain't even that. I don't want to be around none of you sweaty, greasy people and all your little germs. Right. I'm a germaphobe when it comes. I don't even want all that. Why you? Nah, never.
But I mean, even if it's your interest, it's just you're opening the door to so many bad things. Like, yeah, you might just be someone who has a little kink or whatever, but now you're entering a world where, no,
And there's also the drugs aspect of it, where you have people who are very high, very intoxicated.
Well, how else can you get comfortable being in this weird ass situation?
Maybe doing things that they wouldn't be doing when they're sober or will regret later on. Like you got.
Once you've been invited and are considering attending a quote freak off, you should be stopping yourself and being like, "What am I doing this week?"
What about a freak fest? What about, see, this brings it all into question. Freak fest, freak Nick.
Freak Nick didn't turn out great
Freak
either.
off.
Freak fest.
We should, if anything has freak in it,
freak show,
baby,
away. Baby on the dance floor. Freakazoid.
Anyway, that's your flash and lights report.